Warning! The following video contains spoilers for Undertale. If you don't want the plot ruined, then you may want to reconsider watching this video, at least for now. Undertale certainly is an enigma of the gaming industry, having picked up an impressively large and dedicated following within its first months of release, and while most praise towards this game is directed towards the combat system and the atmosphere set by its storytelling, the cast is another highlight of the game, and one that's drawn a good few interested players. Most of these characters could have made for an interesting analysis, but as a starting point, I've decided to narrow things down to the royal family at the center of this game's plot. I'm the Kitsune Hawk, and today we'll be looking underground to seek out the inspiration behind the Dreemurr family, Toriel, Asgore, and Asriel. So get out your pencils, trivia enthusiasts, because this is character development. So, out of the three members of the Dreemurr family, let's start with the first member encountered, Toriel. Quite honestly, compared to Asgore and Asriel, Toriel isn't quite as complex, nor is she within the same vein of inspiration. But given her distance from her ex-husband, that's actually a pretty clever way of portraying their strained relationship. Toby Fox, the creator of Undertale, has confirmed that Toriel's character comes from two major sources, the first and most obvious being her motherly personality, which Toby remarked wasn't something seen very often in RPG games, let alone done in a genuine manner. The second source is evident in the pun of her name. Toriel is a play on Tutorial, the character archetype that Toby based her on. Toby mentioned that the idea came after playing The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword and getting annoyed whenever Fi would give away the solution to a puzzle. Toby felt that a character that concerned for the protagonist's safety would actually do the work in their place, which made the first encounter with Toriel a hand-holding experience both figuratively and literally. Continuing in chronological order, that means Toriel's former husband, King Asgore Dreemurr, is next. It's now worth mentioning that the family's last name, Dreemurr, is an anagram for the word murderer. While Toriel's name does not appear to be another anagram to play off of this, Asgore's name is an anagram for the word sage or, making his full name read as Sage or Murderer. Perhaps as an allusion to his popularity amongst the denizens of the underground, despite his plan of killing the humans who fell through the barrier and harvesting their souls. Asgore's plan is possibly derived from the story of the seven Asab al-Kahfi, Arabic for companions of the cave. According to the Quran, these seven youths sought shelter within a cave to avoid religious persecution, leaving the cave 300 solar years later. The Roman Christians had their own take on this story, saying that the cave was inside of a mountain and that the companions' stay was for a single day, emerging many years later, however. Either way, both interpretations fit an archetype of storytelling known as the King in the Mountain. The theme that plays at the very beginning of the battle against Asgore is named Bergkönigin, the German word for King in the Mountain. In this scenario, however, Asgore is not the literary heroic figure sleeping in the mountain, instead being an antagonizing force against the seven humans who fell into the underground, a place where the cycle of day and night would otherwise be obscured. This antagonized image of Asgore might also tie into the portrayal of Satan in Christianity, as it was believed that Satan had a disciple named Baphomet, a being described as having a human body and arms but also a goat's head and legs, eerily accurate to Asgore's physical appearance. During his battle against the player, Asgore uses a trident as his weapon of choice, the trident or pitchfork being a tool used by the devil to shepherd humans away from God and allowing him to collect their souls and send them to hell. Again, going back to Asgore's role in the story and residence underground. Finally, we have the primary antagonist of Undertale, Asriel Dreemurr, better known by his alternate form, Flowey. Asriel's name alone holds a number of references, the most obvious being that it's a combined form of Asgore and Toriel, but there are two religious interpretations of this name as well. Asriel is a Hebrew name that means Prince of God, clearly referenced with him being King Asgore's son. Additionally, Asriel can also be seen as an anagram of Serial, making his full name read as Serial Murderer, a name that certainly befits Flowey and his creed of kill or be killed. The name Asriel is also a play on Asriel, the angel of death in Jewish, Islamic, and Sikh traditions. Islam in particular states that Asriel's duty is to gather the souls of the people and return them to Allah. Similarly, in the pacifist route, Asriel gathers the souls of nearly every monster in the underground to assume a form known as the Angel of Death. And during the neutral route, he uses the human souls to transform himself into a nigh godlike being, playing the roles of both Asriel and Allah. More so than Asgore, Asriel also draws inspiration from Baphomet, but also adding his dark wings and wicked nature, two features absent in Asgore's appearance. And like Baphomet being a prophet of Satan, Asriel as Flowey does initially attempt to convince the player that his creed of kill or be killed is the law of the underground. It's also worth noting that Baphomet began as a bastardization of the Prophet Muhammad, as a way for the Knights Templar to correlate Islam with Satanism or paganism. Asriel is not only based on an angel of death from the Islamic faith, but is represented as a remorseless being on the outside, yet still the same child on the inside, a comparison similar to how differently Christians and Muslims in medieval Europe would have viewed Muhammad. In the end, while Undertale's cast may have the facade of being simple in nature, the developer commentary and mythological background behind just these three characters is tantamount to the level of love and care that went into crafting what has so far been the defining indie game of late 2015. Cheers to your hard work, Toby Fox. Cheers to your hard work. This has been Character Development. Thanks for watching, and you can thank Nerdy Esper for suggesting today's episode. As always, you can leave your feedback and suggestions in the comments below. If you're interested in more character trivia, you can use the annotation on the right to see the previous episode on Shibelanke from Smite. But if it's more Undertale you're after, why not give Epic Game Music's recent cover of Bone Trousel a listen? Just use the annotation on the left. That's all for now, thanks again, and take care everyone.